roster health-wise, I guess, where are y'all at right now?
We're getting closer to getting some guys back. So it's we had our scrimmage the other night, and Josiah went down with a cramp, and we're down to 9 guys, so couldn't even finish the scrimmage off. But I think we're getting closer to getting a guy or two back, so that's a good thing, and certainly want to be heading that direction.
Do you have any worries about health entering the year, about if they'll be ready to go, ready to play?
Yeah, there'll be 2 or 3 that probably won't be available right at the beginning of the season. Again, I think most of the guys will be getting back closer to, maybe not right at the start, but close to the start by December type timeline.
Did Doran get cleared for full contact already? Nick Doran, he one of the ones you anticipate will be back because he was the closest.
Yeah, Nick is getting really close. We're hoping to get him into some more full practice type stuff this upcoming week, but it's still going to take a little while. He's been out a long time to get him back into game shape, get him into the drills and things at full speed.
What's been you mentioned that it causes practice problems, and you mentioned you had to call the scrimmage the other night. Like the practical impact of that and trying to not push guys because you are short on depth, like practice-wise, how has that impacted kind of how you design things, and what changes have you maybe had to make?
Yeah, we've been a little more careful with how much up and down we do every day. A little more drill work, so you're more in 3-on-3 type stuff. We don't typically practice, an overly long time in terms of we're not out there for 3 hours. So we're usually around that 90-minute mark. So we haven't had to adjust maybe how long we're out there. It's just maybe a little bit of how much live stuff we're doing as 5-on-5 segments.
I want to get your thoughts on your offense. You watch it, open lane, up tempo, up the 3. Just sort of give the fans an overview philosophically, why do you play that way? And sort of your emphasis on getting threes, playing up tempo. How you want to play, how you want to recruit to, how you want to play.
Yeah, I think philosophically, we love to shoot threes. I mean, that's what we believe in. That's what we recruit to. So you'll see that as we continue forward too. Like this year's team was put together with the idea that we want to have a lot of guys that can really shoot it, a lot of guys that really understand how to play, have a great IQ, unselfish, and then we'll recruit to that moving forward too. But I just believe if you can have a group that's willing to play together and they can all shoot it, it makes you really challenging to guard, for a defense. And we want to be the aggressors. We want to play in transition. That's the best way to get open threes is against a broken floor. So you'll see that from us throughout the year. It's just a huge emphasis on wanting to get up and down and to shoot threes.
How many guys do you feel right now you have that you're comfortable with letting them take threes? I mean, it looks like a lot of them look at the roster. I'm curious your thoughts.
Yeah, almost everybody on the roster right now has the green light to shoot them. Some are naturally going to take more than others type deal, but we want everybody to be a threat out there. So I think from even our bigs, they can all shoot it. They all got skill. They've shown throughout practices and things that we're going to be able to put people out in a 5-out situation, and everybody on the floor is going to be able to not only shoot it, but hopefully shoot it at a high percentage.
Tucker mentioned that Reed Bailey's one of the more unique players he's played with. I guess what have you kind of seen from him?
I think Reed Bailey's just one of those guys that does have a unique skill set because he is 6'10". I mean, he can run. He can really handle. He handles and runs like a guard, and I love that about him. We're going to be able to be creative in some ways to how to utilize him on the offensive end, and I think I used the word unique, but that skill set is something I think we can really take advantage of. Not a lot of guys like him out there in the country.
What do you like most about Lamar? What makes him potentially?
Yeah, what I love about Lamar may not even be like what he does as a player. I think I love his energy, his enthusiasm, the way he plays the game. It really, for a long season, you got to have guys like that, some energy guys in your locker room, and he's one of those guys that has a great mindset, great attitude about how he approaches every day. Now I do love the fact that he makes threes too, so that's also a good quality of his.
It looks like y'all are close. How early did you guys gel?
Yeah, I think when you get to a new group like that, and they're committing, with an empty roster, that relationship is kind of unique in terms of like they're committing to something they can't even really see yet. So, I think from a coach's standpoint and a staff standpoint, there's a lot of meaning to that. Like, hey, they are willing to come and believe in, what we're doing, and then our belief in them as well. So, I think we have a great relationship there, and like I said, it's just it's fun to be around.
In terms of his three-point shooting acumen, what sets him apart? Is it mechanics? Is it like what makes him as dynamic a shooter as he is?
I think it's just his ability to take and make hard ones. There's a lot of guys out there that can really shoot it, but maybe they miss a couple and they don't feel as confident. Lamar's not one of those guys. Like he's going to be one of those guys. He can miss 5 in a row, and he's going to take the next 5. Like he just. And that's what you need to have from a mindset standpoint as a shooter is the next shot. And when you put in that time and the work that he does, I want him to know that hey, it's basketball. You're going to have shooting slumps at times, but I don't ever want him to second guess. And he's one of those guys you don't have to talk too much about that.
With all on defense, what characteristics are you looking for in a player to be successful in your defense? What other attributes do you look for?
For us as a defense, it's really a mindset. Like we want guys that want to play tough, want to play physical, but yet play with some discipline in how we're doing it. So we don't want to put people up at the free throw line 50 times a game while we're being physical. But we also don't want to be so passive that now we don't create kind of what we want on the defensive end in terms of taking them out of what they want to do. For us, being aggressive at spots, but also making sure that behind it we got great discipline and we're protecting one another. And that connectivity takes time because we don't play with a ton of rules because I want guys to play fast and instinctive at both ends of the floor. So it takes them a little bit of time to figure out, hey, when do I switch, when do I not switch, those type of things. But you can see the progress we made from June till now. And really, even in the last 2 weeks, I've really seen us take a jump defensively in how they're able to play off of one another, communicate with one another. For us, I think we have a chance defensively to be really good. I think we have some pieces there, some natural talent, and then also guys that understand positioning, that we can be a good defensive team.
With all the time you spent around Tucker with the game, like when did you start to realize he could become something special?
Yeah, I thought, I was joking earlier, like when he was in 8th, 9th grade, I have some coaching friends and I was like, I hope someday he can be a walk-on somewhere, or, maybe play Division II. And then between his sophomore and junior year, I had to reevaluate my evaluation skills. But that's when he really took the biggest jump. He grew about 3 or 4 inches, but you could see the confidence kind of starting to come through too. So that's kind of when I realized, like, yeah, he has a chance to be a good player and play beyond high school.
Darren, as you came into this job, what was or is your appreciation for the IU rivalry, and any perspective on how that fits into whether IU is successful or whether you're successful?
Yeah, the IU Purdue rivalry is one of the great rivalries in college basketball. So it's what makes college basketball so unique and special. Is you got 2 fan bases that are very passionate about their teams and programs. You're in close proximity to one another. You're recruiting a lot of the same kids, so you understand why that is such a great rivalry, and it's awesome for college basketball. It's awesome for college sports, and excited to be a part of it.
Does it come up at all in conversations that you have with the IU community as you're settling together?
Yeah, I think every block that you walk, it comes up. So everybody has a passion for it, and that's a good thing.
Defensively with Connor, you fouled out, I think, in at least one of those Puerto Rico games. Do you give him the green light to just go all out all the time, or have you had to pull him back?
Connor's one of those guys. He does play so hard, and in Puerto Rico, he might have fouled out of both, but he only played like 16 total minutes, so his fouls per minute was pretty effective. But no, he's one of those guys. I'm not going to pull him back. We talked to him about being smarter, not picking one up 70 feet away from the basket, but that's also what makes him really good at what he does. He's just always there. He's always underneath you, and I don't want to take that away from him. But we would like him to be on the floor a little bit longer than he was in Puerto Rico.
A lot has been made about the lack of top end height on the roster, not having a 7-footer, but what you do have is taller guards. How does having size at the guard spot unlock more for you as a team?
Yeah, having some size at the guard spot's good. Like positionally, we're really got pretty good height. You know, just even like Reed, he's 6'10". You know, Sam's 6'8". You know, got some girth to him, but so I think we have enough there. But having taller guards, longer guards, will also help us in some of the rebounding pieces too. So we're going to be able to, go rebound down. It's going to have to be more of a rebounding effort for us to be a good defensive rebounding team. But I do like our positional side overall.
Do you take anything away from, as a first-year coach, take anything away from what Dusty May was able to do in his first year last year in the Big Ten?
Yeah, he had a very good first season, and I think for us it's not always about hey, so and so did this or they accomplished this. I think it's more about us, and like our focus is like how do we get better every day? How does this group maximize itself? And then have an internal belief in what you can accomplish. So, we're really big on like the outsiders. Like nobody knows what our team is. Like we have 15 new guys. And maybe seen a practice or two. Like we know what we are. We know what we have. We know what we need to do to be successful. And that's our only priority right now is how do we get this group to maximize its potential.
On Lamar, how quickly did you realize he was an energetic outgoing guy?
I would say like from his visit on, he's just one of those guys. He's just got a great personality. You get the chance to meet him, you'll know right away. Like, he's just a fun guy. And you got to have guys like that in your locker room. Everybody's got different personalities within your locker room, but you need a guy like Lamar that has a smile on his face, brings great energy. And, it's not always just when he's making threes too. He'll bring it every day.
When it comes to Reed and Sam, what do you see in the lineups when they're on the court together versus when you only got one of them out there?
Say that one more time.
When it comes to Reed and Sam down low, just what do you see in those lineups when both of them are on the court together versus just one of them?
Yeah, Reed and Sam, we actually had to play it a lot in Puerto Rico because of the foul trouble. So we played that bigger lineup, even though we weren't able to do it a lot in practice. And a lot of it was just we couldn't have both of them on the same team because then we didn't have anybody else for them to go against. So, but we used it a lot in Puerto Rico, and it was pretty successful for us. So it's something we've worked on a lot more here this fall. But they both complement each other in different ways. They're both play well within our offense and what we do, but they can also utilize, like Reed is really good at facing up and driving. Sam has a little more back to the basket type post-up game that he can utilize. Both are really good passers, very unselfish passers too. So we can play them together, we can play them separately, but I like what both those guys bring.
How important is Tatum going to be to what you want to do on both ends of the court this year?
Yeah, Tatum's a big piece just because he's a paint toucher. You got a lot of shooters out there, but he's one of those guys that can create on his own. So that's a big piece for us. Is just his ability to get inside the paint, get in the teeth of the defense, and then have the ability to finish at the rim, or if he forces some help to be able to spray it out to our shooters.
Darren, curious with the background of that injury, maybe during expansion, maybe the idea of expanding this in return?
I don't have a lot of it. If they decide to expand it, great. If they decide to keep it how it is, that's fine too. I just know we want to be a part of it. That's what I care about the most.
On you and Tucker, what does it mean to you and to him to have this final season in college together, especially at a place like Indiana?
Yeah, we're excited. And excited for him to be healthy too. That's a big part of it too. So. To get to spend this time together, this journey has been a lot of fun, and we'd love to, end it on a very positive note this year.
What's been the most rewarding part of coaching him?
I think the most rewarding part of coaching him is just getting to see the work he puts in every day. When you have your son, daughter that is very passionate about something, to see them work so hard to achieve their goals and whatever it may be, but I get to see all that firsthand and watch the work transfer to the game floor and see the success he's had because of that work.
How big was it to get it for him to have an off season? I guess he hadn't had one in 3 years. I mean, have you seen a difference, and how's he kind of taking advantage of being healthy kind of throughout the off-season program?
Yeah, I think this year the surgery taking place in January allowed him almost a full summer to actually lift weights, to work on his game. before he hasn't been able to do any of that because he wasn't cleared really until kind of the fall to be able to do a lot of the lifting type stuff. So you can just see it in his body. He's really filled out. He's gotten a lot stronger. Maybe even more importantly, he trusts having collisions and making contact. Both offensively, being able to bump people off, but rebounding, all the things. Defensively, getting through screens, not having to avoid contact to protect the shoulder. So that's the part I think he feels great about right now, and that's why I mentioned excited for him to hopefully be able to play a season injury-free.
Did he get frustrated at all? Was there a point where it was like enough of it? Like, how was that to try to three years in a row?
Yeah, I don't want to speak for him, but I know for people that have been injured before and understand the rehab process, it's very time-consuming, meticulous. It can be frustrating at times because it takes what it takes to get it back, and then you're trying to rush back to get to a season and things. So, those parts are, hopefully behind him, and now we can move forward.
Is there any pressure on him and you, knowing that this is his last year of eligibility to have success?
No, not really at all. I mean, for us, we want to enjoy it. Put in the work, and then see what happens from there. But we're going to enjoy it together. The good and the bad. There's the ups and downs in every season, but we always try to keep it in perspective and know that, hey, we both are working as hard as we can to be successful, have our team be successful, and as long as you do that, that's all you can ask for.
How have those conversations gone with you moving schools with him? Has it been an automatic both times that he wanted to come play for you again, or has he maybe considered going out elsewhere?
No, it was pretty much an automatic. Even going to Drake, and leading up to those conversations. But once he decided to join us at Drake, it was, we're together.
How have you seen his game grow from year one being with you to obviously now coming in through this summer and obviously dealing with all the injuries? How have you seen that kind of expand from now to then?
I think like a lot of young players, when he comes in, just the strength and the speed of the game, he's really adjusted to that. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten faster. You learn how to play the game, and play to your strengths. Avoid some of your weaknesses, those type of things. But I think just his overall game has really improved. We had to utilize him a lot at Drake, especially his last year. It's almost like a second point guard. So we've had to, his decision making in his field and ability to create for others has become something that we really try to utilize because he is such a good passer, and at his size, he's able to see over defenses, in some ball screen coverages and things. So that's the part I think he's really grown as an overall player.
Dan Altman mentioned earlier that in your time at Creighton, you really connected with the fans well. The scrimmage that night, issues with fans. I guess, why is that something that you feel like you're able to do so well?
I love the interaction that the fan base has with programs. I understand it, as a fan of other sports. I want them to feel connected to our program. I want that to be something that they feel like they have an impact every day on our success, and specifically with home contests and support and all those things, because they do. And we have a fan base that is very passionate about basketball and our program. And they do have a huge impact. So I want them to feel really good about, hey, who we are as people, what kind of guys that are representing our program, and for them to really rally behind us and enjoy this journey together.
When Altman hired you at Creighton in 2001, where were you at that point in life? Like, it was a GA job, right? How important was that time for you?
Yeah, it was actually in 1998. I had just got done playing. So my first couple of years wasn't as a full-time assistant coach. I think I was even equipment manager at one point for a little bit there. So my first full-time assistant job started 3 years later. So I had 17 years as a full assistant, but I spent 13 years with Coach Altman and then with Coach McDermott. I was talking to Coach last night. Just who knows how it does if he doesn't give me that start. And that's I have a great appreciation for him and how he's helped mentor me as a coach as I was growing up in the profession.
He had mentioned too, he knew a few years in after you arrived with him that you had the qualities to be at a stage like this. When did you know?
I don't know that as an assistant coach, I didn't worry. I was maybe a little unique in I wasn't just every day just like when can I be a head coach. I was happy in the space I was in and just continuing to learn and grow and kind of like they say, be happy where your feet are planted. And I was extremely comfortable with that. My family was happy with it. And if the right opportunity ever came along, then great. But I loved all of my time there as an assistant coach and some great people along the way.
With Josh and Josiah, what do you notice about their relationship? They've both known each other for a long time now. What do you notice about their relationship?
Yeah, they obviously played together, so they have a unique relationship coming in. That when you got a lot of new guys, that they at least knew one another. So, but they've been great. They're both good guys. They both come in and can work every day. It's important to them. So it's been fun to have them.
One more question on Lamar, but when you hear that he's donated 6 figures in his NIL to St. Houston, how does that hit you as a coach?
Yeah, I think that says a lot about Lamar. When you're willing to give back to a place that is really good to you and help create an opportunity for you that you put him where he is today. He just, like I said, he's just a great person, and that's I think says a lot about not him as a person and his unselfishness and his willing to give back and appreciate the people that helped him along the way.
You talked about all the threes you guys plan to shoot this season. Just how do you plan to kind of maintain a balance of getting those paint touches and still getting to the rim with all the threes you shoot?
Yeah, those paint touches are still important because they're what lead to three-point shooting. Like you can't just always shoot non-paint touch threes. That's not a high level of success. So we talk about shooting threes, but we also talk about paint touches a lot too for the same reason. We still have to put pressure on the rim, whether it be with dribble penetration or what we do with cutting. Being able to space the floor and put pressure on the rim for people to stop cuts or posting. There's a lot of different ways that you can get into the paint and then be able to play out from there. So we do emphasize that a lot. There's a lot of days in practice where we have to get a paint touch before we shoot a three, even though we know what we want to really get to as an end result. So yeah, those are very critical to our success as a three-point shooting team is getting those paint touches.
Who are those guys you relied on to get those paint touches a lot?
I mean, we mentioned Tatum earlier. Tucker with his size is able to get in there, but it's more about the other 3 categories of relying on movement, cutting, getting some of those paint touches off of post-ups more than it is. We don't have a lot of breakdown type guys that can create on their own, so we have to do it maybe off of action. So we can get a guy curling off a down screen to get into the paint. Those type of things is how we're going to rely on getting most of them.
You've been intentional trying to connect with students, helping them move in August by rounding upstairs last week. Why try to get the students that much?
Yeah, I think we have a great student base. You have 7,500 tickets allotted for students. So, and then they love it. You walk around campus and they are so excited about being at Indiana, being a part of Indiana basketball. And like I said, I want them to feel that connectivity because it is a great relationship. Students impact so much of what our home court advantage is going to be, and I think Assembly Hall is one of those places just by the structure and how it's built, and has a place to be one of the toughest places in the country, if not the best, every single year. And our students are going to be what kind of sets that tone for us.
Do you know how much the bar bill was?
Maybe.
Darren, a couple of years ago, you were at a place where you have to win your league tournament to get in the field. That said, tournament expansion, if it happens, is that a good thing to get maybe an Indiana State a couple of years ago where teams like that in the field possible?
As I mentioned earlier, there will be powers above me that determine that. So we just want to be a part of it. That's all we know. So whatever, if it stays the same, if it grows, whatever it is, we just want to try to get ourselves in.
Your team in December is going to go down to Lexington and resume the Kentucky series. Obviously, you're new to Indiana, but do you have a sense yet for what that game's significance is?
Yeah, I think it's an awesome series, for both programs, but I think for college basketball too. Indiana, Kentucky, really excited about that. The first year of a 4-year series. So again, exciting games, non-conference games. That's what we want. We want to create those type of stages for our guys to be on and go compete, challenge ourselves before you get into Big Ten play. And what not a better way to do it than to go on the road this year and have them come back the following year.
An exhibition like Baylor early in the season too, how does that, how valuable is a game like that?
It's what I love about it is you get to get in front of fans, which is great. Play another high level opponent. They're always really good. We thought it would be a great game for both of us. We got the opportunity to play each other last year, so I think we both appreciate what this game does for us from a non-conference or exhibition game standpoint. Hey, give us a real barometer of like, all right, where are we at? We got short period of time here to get some things figured out, but really give us a real clear picture of some things we need to clean up before we get into wins and losses.
Is it valuable to get into the facility too? You've got a regular season game at Gamebridge here to play a game like that, just that kind of competition, and then also in a gym you're going to be trying to win a regular season game.
Yeah, certainly an added benefit to get the opportunity to play in the gym, get a little bit of feel for the surroundings, walk in the locker room, all that stuff, just to be as comfortable as possible for the regular season. So I think it's something. It's just an added benefit. Yeah.
Thank you.